Hello, Internet. Hello, Sam, and welcome back to After Campfire. It's been a while, and usually it's not because I'm too busy, but oh my god, I have been swamped the past little while, and a lot's gone on since my last video, and then Sam took about a month for his. Now it's about over a month for mine. What am I doing? It's hard. Life is hard. But I'm here. And let's catch you guys up with Henry's Diary of How to Adult. We've been gone for a while. I think I was talking about like the possibility of getting promoted before we left. I also was going to start working in Bellevue soon, and I don't even know if I started that by my last video. I probably should have rewatched my last video first, but it's okay. It's fine. So, I started working in Bellevue, which I hate. So basically, Bellevue, if you don't know the geography of the Seattle area, is like across the water. So if you go during and it's really prone to rush hour traffic, like really bad. So what I've been doing is going in late, leaving early, and working more from home, which has been weird and disruptive and frustrating because I used to always do stuff immediately after work, and now it's all messed up. And that's been rough, but the promotion was good. A major project I was working on got like a prototype of it finished, which is cool. I'm working on boring stuff right now, which hopefully won't be too bad. As for life stuff, the One Piece card game stuff has been a lot of fun. I think one of the first thing that delayed me from making a video was that I entered this like tournament thing. Like I had previously done a 3-on-3 tournament, which is like you have a team of 3 people and it's best 2 out of 3 of your squad. And my squad won the last one we did, so I was like training extra hard to hopefully kick some butt. We did not do very good in the next round, but that's okay. It wasn't because of me. I did great. I think I won 2 or 3 of my games. So that was a lot of fun. I know that I'm missing more, but I also just was on vacation. Last weekend, I went to Vegas with Amanda for a whole week. That was like my first, and our first like big trip together. That was just a us trip. That was a lot of fun. She'd never been to Vegas before, and I hadn't been in a while. I went once right before the pandemic, but it was quick. It was with my mom and sister, and it was right before I had my first interview with Amazon, because I interviewed with them twice, so I could not actually relax and have fun. So this was a lot of fun. Saw a lot of circus shows. We did a lot of really fun things. I won money at the casino. Like it was a good time. I also, there's this place called like Playground or something, which it's like a adults only like arcade kind of thing, not in like a pervy way, just we serve alcohol here, so no kids around, where they have giant physical activities, and one of them was that like you have a balance beam and things swinging and you have to avoid getting it, and I got their top 3 score of all time. You had to pay for every time you played the game, so I'm like, man, if I could have just played it a few more times, I probably would have got their best score ever. But alas, the funny thing about that is I'm pretty sure I was second when I got it, and someone in that span right after me beat me, which is wild. We were only there for like an hour or 2. So that was fun. But it kind of leads into my question for Sam, which was it was a couple question, and it was about how do you guys support each other? And Sam's response was like kind of funny, because I feel like in a lot of relationships, you'll definitely have the person who's more like X and the person who's more like Y. And you were kind of talking about having each other meet in the middle in the terms of her. I hope this doesn't sound rude. I just don't know the right way to say this, like about more strict or uptight with how she gets things done, and you being loose and go with the flow. So she's trying to be more loose and you're trying to be more like strict and following the rules. Not following the rules, like maintaining a schedule and stuff like that. And for us, it's a kind of funny dynamic, because it's kind of a similar vibe, but we are both at different times, where, let's just say for this vacation, we kept stalling, actually finishing setting it up, like setting up the shows and stuff that we would go to. So at one point I got down, said, I'm doing it now. I put a schedule together. Like, I always make a schedule when I go to visit the East Coast of like, what friends am I visiting on what day? So like, I was just a calendar and days, and I'm like, during this chunk of time, we're doing this thing, then this thing, then this thing. Like, I can show you, it's a whole nice chart. So very strict on how to create things. But then once we're there, I'm like, oh, whatever, go with the flow. Want to try that thing? That's fine. And Amanda, while she's pretty go with the flow, that stresses her out more. So basically, both of us, our big thing is being patient and understanding of how we use our time and our space. So like, I need to think of more examples, and I'm sure I'll talk about it more in the future. But like, I could be very anal and stressed out about how my space is organized, which is funny because I'm trying to clean up right now. I have things to talk about as far as, I was supposed to talk about one more thing that was really busy. I'm entering a CEDH tournament next weekend, which means competitive Elder Dragon Highlander, competitive Commander. I play a ton of Magic Commander. I have never played CEDH proper before, but I follow a lot of CEDH YouTube channels. And I really love the format, but I've never played it. It's a very expensive format, but fortunately, since I've been playing Magic my whole life, I just have accumulated most of what I've needed over time. There are very expensive cards that I need, but you're allowed to use 10 fake cards. So those 10 fake cards are like a few $1,000s of cards that I'm just like, cool, those will be my fakes. And I had almost everything else, but it required like going through all of my decks to find like the real versions of cards, because I just use fake cards for a lot of my cards, because my rule to myself is once I own a card, I'll make fakes of it. I don't need to have a bazillion versions of the same card, because Wizards of the Coast is never going to make these cards cheap. I can talk about the economy of Magic cards a lot, but that's not what we're here for today. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been just really busy, really digging into my hobbies. One other thing of like learning to support each other is that Amanda's been getting into the hobbies as well. Like, so she's been playing the One Piece game with me, and it's been just like supporting her, and how we play with each other is important, and making sure she doesn't ever feel included or excluded or anything, and making sure she's up to date when I am following everything a little bit more. But yeah, I'll go into more later. I definitely got really distracted by the Commander stuff. I had some friends over today to help me practice with this, because you only can use like this rare or expensive type of deck against each other. But I have a bunch of fake ones like that I made a few years ago, so I was ready. Even though those decks are already outdated, even though I made them like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Great. So it might have been 3. I don't actually know. But point being is I need to update them. So Sam had a funny question, because Sam's question to me was like, what is a food that holds significance to you? Like, especially from like childhood and stuff. And I don't feel like I have a great answer for that, because like the role of food in my life is a lot more basic and boring. However, like the one that keeps creeping into my mind, even though it's not like remotely as, like it's not a thing I eat all the time, but it's a thing that just makes me think of childhood, is ice cream cookie sandwiches. I loved them so much when I grew up and I would sometimes have multiple a day and stuff like that. How I wasn't obese as a small child when I was doing that, I don't know. I was very, very active, and it was enough to not be an issue. Anyways, I just love those. Any chance I have the opportunity to get one, I will, especially like it was a nice one. In Berkeley, when I was there was a like kind of famous one called Cream that was walking distance from the campus and my apartment. So I would go there every now and then. It was a special thing because they were open super late. They'd always have giant lines. But it was so much fun. It was fun to go there, and they were super good. So, but that's always the thing that I think of as a special food from my childhood. Besides that, Sam, I think you've heard about the mac and cheese that me and Justin get often. There's a food truck that comes to our area every other month on Tuesdays, which is this month. So we try to make it a thing to go there every Tuesday. It's here so that we have an excuse to get together, and it's really good and yummy, and that's kind of my food that makes me think of my friends here. So I gave you two. I gave you a childhood one and like a new one. Mac and cheese is always great, but that specific food truck's mac and cheese, like I've had better. There's a place in Berkeley also called oh no, what's it called? I got this. I have their cookbook. It's the only cookbook I have in Seattle. It's called Homeroom. I remember now, but yeah. Homeroom. Yeah, it says Homeroom like in the corner here. I love Homeroom's mac and cheese. They were my favorite place to go in college. It was driving distance, so we didn't go too often. But that one makes me think of college, and I often use that recipe. I actually had that for lunch yesterday. I make it in a huge batch and freeze it. Anyways, Sam, I'm sorry I took so long. Time is weird and slips away. It's kind of weird when talking about things like camp time and just as your adult time passes slower. But it's true. Like I've been talking to a friend of mine about this a lot lately because they've been going through some like harsh like turmoil with a romantic interest in some friends. A friend that they had a crush on, and once that information got out, it got messy, and they were basically asking how soon is too soon? Like it's been a week, it's been a month, like how? But when I think of a month as an adult, I'm like, dude, that's like nothing. But when you're in the middle of something emotional or hard, every day is tricky. By the way, Sam, you, while not recently, used to work with like middle schoolers where their sense of time is much different than ours. And you also, like through camp, you've still worked there more recently, or even college students probably feel the same thing. Tell me about what you think of your sense of time versus the youth, or just anyone who feels like they're experiencing more time. I don't know, just the general concept of relative experience of time. That is my question. I want you to tell me how you feel about that, how you've experienced that, and I don't know. Hopefully it won't take us another month each to get back and forth. But yeah, also sharing your time with people more. It makes it harder to do things alone for like 20 minutes like this. Who would have thought? And I have the space for it. Yeah, Sam, get your house already so you can make more after campfire videos. Bye.